Love, welcome back to another episode of Classy and Sassy. I'm your host, Erica Regina, and today we're getting into some real talk. This is the space where we try to blend pop culture vibes with lifestyle and a little mindset sprinkle. And today's lineup is a whole mood. We're going to be talking about the confidence curve, why some of us hit it a little later in life, independence in relationships. Yes, you can be too independent. The reality of building a platform while also trying to build a life. And to wrap it up, a little relationship tea. Is there really a time frame before you can move on after a breakup? So grab your coffee, your tea, your wine, whatever your vibe is for today, and let's get into it. Start with confidence, shall we? This one has been on my mind a lot lately. People act like confidence is this magical thing you're supposed to have early on in life. Like, you hit adulthood and boom, you're walking into rooms, head held high, ready to own the place. That couldn't be further from the truth for me. I spent years, I do mean years, of my life questioning myself, worrying about how I looked, how I sounded, if I was smart enough, or if people thought I belonged in the spaces and places I occupied. But here's the thing. Here's what I've learned over time. Confidence is not linear. For some, it peaks early. They've always been confident, secure people. But for others, like me, it's constant work that we have to build layer by layer with every experience. My confidence now isn't about how I look. It's about knowing I can survive what life throws at me. It's trusting myself. It's knowing that if I walk into a room, I don't need to be the loudest voice. I just need to be authentic. There is no longer any need to really try to dim myself to fit certain expectations or blend in so no one notices me. You either love me or you hate me. Either way, I'm going to be okay with that. Confidence evolves. It can be, when you finally hit a certain career goal, it may peak. Or when you raise kids and realize you've been running an empire called your household. It can peak when you've survived heartbreak or when you've built something from nothing. Think about it. At what stage of your life did you feel the most confident? And why? DM me or drop it under this episode post if you're comfortable and tell me. Let's talk about independence. I know a lot of my listeners are like me. Strong, independent, I can do it myself type of women. And let me tell you, independence is beautiful. But yes, you can be too independent. Here's the thing. Independence becomes an issue when it starts to block connection. When you are so used to handling everything that you don't even let people in to support you. For you, asking for help feels like weakness. Or when you push people away because you're just too scared to depend on them. I've been there. I've had times where being independent saved me. When I felt I had no choice but to stand on my own 2 feet and count on me and only me. But I've also had times where I could have asked for help instead of struggling as hard as I did. There's a difference between being strong and being closed off. I was independent for so long that to this day, it's still sometimes hard to let go and remember I'm not alone anymore. And I don't need to figure it out all alone with any and everything that life might throw at me. True independence doesn't mean you have to do everything alone. It can also mean being secure enough to choose when to lean on someone and when to stand on your own. Have you ever been told you're too independent? How did that land with you? Okay, let's get into the messy middle of it all. When we're trying to build something for ourselves while also living life. For me, that looks like running my podcast, building my real estate business, running my travel brand, and still trying to keep my home, marriage, and health intact. And let me tell you, balance, it doesn't exist the way people sell it. It's really about trade-offs. There are absolutely weeks when my career goals are just thriving. My house, it's a mess, or my health goals may be so out of whack, I feel decades older than I really am. You hear those creaks when you get up. Weeks where my business is booming, but my writing barely gets touched. And guess what? That's real life. The key is giving yourself permission to not be perfect, to focus on what matters most that day, to stop chasing this idea of balance and instead choose intentional trade-offs. My biggest survival strategy lately, you're listening to one of them. When this podcast loads, I'll be on a cruise ship somewhere. I have two of them back to back. So I recorded this in advance and I scheduled it to load last week because life, sometimes it can be pretty hectic. So I'm now trying to see how it would work out if I record multiple episodes at once so I can actually live instead of constantly chasing deadlines and giving myself grace when things don't all get equal attention. I'm doing the same thing with my blogs. I'm blocking out time where all I do is write multiple blogs at once and schedule them. That way, I'm still there for my followers who count on new content on certain days, even when I'm all over the place mentally and physically. If you're building something, a side hustle, a passion project, a business, how do you juggle it with everything else on your plate? All right, let's finish with a little bit of relationship real talk. This question always gets people fired up. Is there a right amount of time you're supposed to wait before moving on after a breakup? Pop culture makes this spicy. Celebs get dragged for dating too soon, especially women. I just recently saw a post, pretty sure it was this week, of people going in on Tammy. Waka Flocka, however you say his name, I'm sorry, Waka Flocka's ex-wife, who, by the way, have been divorced for years. Now, she posted a photo with a new man, and people were losing their minds in the comments, like she was a horrible human for moving on with life. Like, let's be real. A man can move on in a week, and people barely blink. But when a woman does it, suddenly it's, she was probably always cheating, or she's so disrespectful. Here's my take. Healing isn't linear. There is no universal clock. Some people check out of relationships long before they officially end. So by the time it's over, they're already emotionally detached. Others need months, even years to heal, and both are valid. It's not about a number of days or weeks, it's about readiness. Are you moving on because you're genuinely ready to love again? Or are you doing it because you're trying to distract yourself from the pain? That's the real question. What do you think? Is there such a thing as moving on too soon? And that's today's Classy and Sassy. We covered a lot. Why confidence doesn't peak the same for everyone. How independence can be both a strength and a barrier. What it really looks like to build a platform while still living your life. And the age-old question of when it's okay to move on after a breakup. If you love this conversation, take a minute to rate and review the show. It really helps me grow. And make sure you're following me on all my socials for daily content and behind the scenes inspo. Until next time, stay classy, stay sassy, and protect your peace.